and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to give them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, we got to be dogs.
Player who is so committed. We spoke to Eric Quill and he said he never gives up. He is so honest. Well, he shows his honesty there. And then
he never gives up. FC Dallas did not give up on Sunday afternoon in Miami, and we're here to break it all down, to talk about a huge weekend for FC Dallas as they grab the full 3 points and a 4-3 come from behind victory over Inter Miami. Welcome to the show, Afterburn Soccer. I'm your host, Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer over on X, and with me are my good buddies, Jose at El Chico Carmona on X, and Mr. Colin Couvert with us as well. Well, let's get this thing going, because a road point last weekend. We thought, hey, we knew this road stretch of 3 games, with the middle one being Inter Miami, was going to be a tough one for FC Dallas. It would be for any team. They got a road point, so you sort of feel like you were playing with house money. But a number of things happened in this one to set it up. Is that Inter Miami had to travel up to Vancouver, where they got their butts kicked against that red-hot Whitecaps, well-coached Whitecaps team. 2-0, so they have to come back all those miles, and I guess it was a long night for them. And so they fielded a heavily rotated squad, but you know what? For FC Dallas, it's still a talented squad out there, and in fact, for a large stretch of the match, the majority of the match maybe, Inter Miami looked to be the stronger team, building up a 3-1 lead, making FC Dallas look awful. Until Quill and company made some changes, brought in some fresh bodies, some fresh legs, some fresh talent, including Pedrinho, who slotted home the game winner there you saw, but also got himself an assist. Just an incredible turnaround to come from behind and grab the 3 points, 4-3, in front of Lionel Messi, who was not happy at all. So we get to break it down. So let's just start with the emotions. Let's start with the roller coaster, watching this one, going from one moment like, this team is a mess. This team has no ideas. Lucho Acosta is not playing well. Is he a terrible fit here? To just joy, just pure satisfying joy. Colin, we'll start with you. What was those roller coaster of emotions for this match?
Man, so started off like how every FC Dallas fan thought. So we had a good first couple minutes, and we got off to a decent early-ish lead within 10 minutes with Shaq Moore, and then Miami started piling on the pressure, and the right back, I want to say it's Ian Frey, did really good at breaking down our defense on our left side, and got a good cross in to Fafa Picol, and everyone knows how Fafa does against Dallas. He always seems to get involved, whether he scores or assists.
Yeah. Fafa scoring against us. I mean, it's just a broken record.
It is, man. From ever since I believe it was Vancouver, and then before that was Houston. He always found a way to score against us. So it was one of those things where I just me and Austin were joking around and being like, yep, he's going to score on us for sure. And sure enough, he did. Funny enough, he didn't because they gave it as an own goal against Shaq Moore, so he did not score against us, thankfully. And then Miami just at that point just took the game away. They just started to dominate us. I think at halftime it was like 67% possession, which which usually doesn't happen with Miami. They don't usually dominate possession, and they just decided to just keep piling it on us. And Quill made some good adjustments. Went to a 3 at the back, getting Norris out for Abubakar, letting Shaq Moore play right wing back, and Julio play left wing back. Which, funny enough, Julio had the most tackles and won the most duels in that match. Again, starting off at striker and then playing left wing back. So that was pretty funny, showing that he was one of the best defensive player on the field. And then Dallas just started piling it on. Pedrinho was able to find that beautiful long ball to Julio off the left wing, and then just at the right place at the right time for Farrington, who didn't give up. We're not going to talk about the aerial view of that pass back from Farrington because it was pretty close to out of bounds. But we're not going to talk about it. But we take that every day. And it's like I said last week, this game was going to either be super boring and 1-1, or it's going to be super chaotic and one team's going to win by a goal. And I believe Jose predicted a high-scoring affair. But with me being a realist and wanting to be a minimalist at best, I was like, I could see it being a 1-1, and Jose ended up getting it, I believe, smack on the money, I believe. So that was pretty funny to see.
Oh, you're muted.
Hey guys. I am.
Marcin.
Yeah, you're muted there. Let me.
You can't hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I can hear you, Marcel.
Hi.
Yeah, but Jose, you're muted. I don't know why. I can't change it. It says you muted yourself. All right. Well, that's always something. Marcel, what's up, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Did you watch the Dallas Miami match?
All right, so I'm going to be honest with you. I got on the video with Jose to watch the game, but I got too drunk, and I was like, I can't do this game right now, so I ended up taking a nap. When I was watching the game, it was 1-0 Miami, and then I wake up like an hour later, and it's like 43, and I was just like, what? What's happening right now? So congratulations on a win. I did well.
It's a wild one. It was an absolute. It's hard to. I mean, it's hard to understand what's going on in a match on that level of the energy and the motion. But you have the Shaq Moore goal, and you felt like, hey, Dallas is going to take advantage of a heavily rotated Inter Miami side. Shaq got it was a blast of a ball, just a great goal. But then how Miami just went to work, and with the talent they have, probably the deepest roster in this league. I don't know how they afford it, how they make it all work. When teams like FC Dallas and Rapids are going in league to find some intriguing players and stuff. Miami has a guy that was getting menaced with his national team, a 19-year-old who looks like he's a talent, but they just made it look easy at times, and so such a strange one. And then for Quill, who we had question marks last week, remember, Marcin, you brought that up. It was on my mind of like, is one of the problems here that we have a coach who's going to experience some hard knocks and have to learn some lessons. But to his credit, he made some interesting adjustments.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and moving Anderson Julio as a wingback. Shaq Moore as a wingback opposite, three central defenders there at the back line. And really almost like 2 10s, which Lucho and Pedrinho. Just an interesting tweak late in the game that really turned things around and opened up space, and probably a little help from Inter Miami, probably feeling like they had this thing on lockdown. They probably were a little overconfident as well.
I just want to point out, like, you hear this? Can you hear this? It's so peaceful right now.
Yeah, well,
Giving you crap.
yeah, Jose's gonna rejoin. Looks like he's
Yeah,
having some
technical
audio issue.
difficulties.
Yeah, which happens.
So,
Yeah, but
ah,
yeah, and so and I noticed the Rapids went up to Seattle, got a point, right?
the actually I was at the game. It was a home game.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right. Let's see.
Technically, we are supposed to be. We should have won that game. We got robbed by a goal. I've never heard the stadium get so wild. 25,000 people, and excuse my language, but 25,000 people screaming "fuck the refs." You know what I mean? It was brutal. Um, and I was ready. I mean, at one point in time, I felt like I was back in Europe, getting ready to turn into a soccer hooligan and burn the mofo down at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah, I can
Jose, I
agree.
think
We
we
got
can hear you
absolutely
now.
robbed.
You can't hear me now?
Yes, there we go. All right,
Okay,
Jose, give us
I
your
was screwing
thoughts
with
on
it.
this FC Dallas road victory.
I just wanted to say that, funny enough, this game kind of reminded me of the Rapids game, in all honesty. The only difference is, unlike the Rapids, Marcia said it best, Miami rolled out a pretty disrespectful lineup against FC Dallas. I mean, let's face it, they basically threw in our backups and threw in their backups and they were doing the job, in all honesty. Up 3-1. They were embarrassing Dallas. Marson, I believe, went to take a nap once Dallas was down, and he was, trust me, he was laying it on thick. But I got the final laugh. I got a final laugh when he woke up and saw the score and said, "What the hell just happened?"
I was actually a little bit upset that I missed the game. It's my birthday weekend, so it's been a rough weekend. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I want to say though that for me the highlight of the match was Urogidze battling with the I don't know that guy's name, but and then getting that second goal that, in all honesty, that, as far as I'm concerned, lit a match under the ass of the team and swung the momentum into FC Dallas's way. And honestly, I think that goal turned the tide, and then Dallas just rolled from there. And it's so refreshing. I think this team has been missing a guy like that, a guy that's going to battle and never give up and you know go toe to toe with the opposition and show the rest of the team that, hey, I don't care what we're losing by, I'm not giving up. And I think that epitomized the what he brings to this team. I mean, if there's a guy here that is doing everything to basically win the fandom over, it is that guy. And I'm so happy that honestly that second goal, I think, triggered the comeback. And glad to see Pedrinho come in and make a difference. And and that's Pedrinho for you, though, a guy who can either disappear or can be, do something. And most importantly, Acosta has been frustrated since Musa's been out because he doesn't really seem to have any what do you call it,
Chemistry.
cohesive, yeah, with anybody else. But he seemed to have it with Pedrinho, and it showed. And Pedrinho may have just won himself a starting spot based on that performance alone.
I'm with you. It's one of the questions I asked Quill after the match was, I just said, does this make a case for him, to get that start? I mean, he came off the bench. Game state matters. All that kind of stuff matters in these situations. But yeah, I mean, especially when you need a spark and that the lineup that they had before with three defensive sort of midfielders. You go with that with Show and KK and Ramiro, they all brought energy. We don't discount that, but you go down 3-1 with a much kind of a more defensive lineup, and so it just begs the question: this team needs to take more risks and put more attacking talent out there, perhaps to help their defense, to help their defense push.
Yeah,
Which is what I've been telling you guys to do since the beginning of the season.
yeah, and on the road it makes sense to start a more defensive minded lineup, but in all honesty, we all agree and we have agreed that three defensive midfielders is just one midfielder too much. And you need somebody that is more offensive minded, and Pedrinho brings that. I think he may have just kicked Show to the curb, who Show just kicked Delgado to the curb. But I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think I'd rather see Delgado in a rotation with Ramiro, uh, and Kaique. You know, uh, picking the, you know, being able to choose the two of the best three, your best three defensive midfielders, the ones that are in best shape or have performed best in practice. That's good for the team, I think. So I have no problem with Show rotating with those two guys, and Pedrinho coming in and you know being part of the attack.
Yeah, it raises a lot of good questions for this team, and I know it's not a healthy team right now, but to be able to get this victory on the road, so they got 4 points now from the first two games in this road.
Still undefeated on the
Still
road.
undefeated on the road.
Handed Miami their first loss of the year. Yeah. Mars is still upset that the Rapids didn't.
We're coming to your house. I can't wait till October because we're coming to your house.
Yeah.
So
hopefully by then we'll have
Mm.
home woes figured out.
I did not even see it. Now I'm looking at the standings and stuff like that. Like just like that, FC Dallas was at number 9. Now they're riding Colorado's ass again. Damn it!
Yep. 6th place. And
Go away! Go away!
I was joking with Martin that with Vancouver's win, Vancouver's starting to run off with the West, and really it's everybody else fighting for 2nd place.
But they're literally running away right now from everyone, and I don't like it.
Everybody that's chasing them. And mind you, like Miami, they rotated their squad and still thumped a really good Minnesota team in Minnesota. So, I think it's time to acknowledge that, at least in the first half of the season, Vancouver seems pretty legit.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's jump over real quick. Let's hear. I was able to start off the press conference and ask Quill just about that roller coaster of a road win, and in particular, kind of what he saw was not going well and why he made the changes he did. Here's Eric Quill.
Yeah, we felt like we weren't in rhythm again and they had the control of the game at 3-1, and we weren't finding the solutions that the game needed in the structure we were in, and so we felt like we needed to get some wing backs higher in the game and some width, and bring Pedrinho in with his feet, his composure, and his finishing ability, and his final product. He and Mucho together are they're pretty special when they're with each other. So it's a combination I was really curious about, and I have been for a while. And this game presented itself as, we got nothing to lose. We're backs against the wall. But Julio's going out to wing back, outstanding. I mean, what a great goal he scored, and his defending in the wing back position was outstanding, which that's not his natural position. So we were really kind of looking at it from, again, we know his pace out wide was could get us around the edges of the game, and it came from a deeper run. But Pedrinho was outstanding, right? Everybody entered the game. Siki for the limited time. Lawless was a warrior. These guys didn't stop believing. That's what we talked about at halftime. Is I challenged them to, this is an exercise that this was new to us, and we got to figure out who we're going to be. And this was a great moment for us to have pure belief that we could come back from anything. And so I'm just all you can ask is your subs to change the game, and they all changed the game for the better and turned it on its head. So I'm just really proud of the collective. These guys they've been training so hard. This is becoming a team across the board. They're rooting for each other. They're working for each other. They're wanting the best for each other, even in the bad times. And that's a true mark of a great team in the making. But we got to stay humble and hungry now, and not rely on just this emotion of the game. And we got to keep growing and climbing the table, keep getting better. But this was a win for the ages, and they deserve it.
A win for the ages, and they deserve it. Chris, hey Chris, thanks for tuning in with us. Chris Winters is crazy. 6 points separate third and 13th in the West.
That's MLS for you.
Yeah, it's MLS. That's parity in this league. But I liked how Quill, reminds us for all how long this season already feels. It's still FC Dallas is still a team coming together, still a team figuring themselves out. There's a lot of room for growth in this team ahead as they sort of figure out how best to use that talent. I mean, so Colin, I want to hear from you about Pedrinho too. I mean, the thing is he's a youngster. It's just like Nolan Norris. Nolan did not have his best match in this game, and was probably right to be subbed off to adjust the changes. But it's also like, hey, it's a young player. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have games where you disappear a bit and games where you can really excel. So, we always have to temper ourselves as fans. We want to see someone just emerge as the next superstar, but that's not always how it works out. So what's your thoughts about Pedrinho getting a start, and if Quill tinkering with this formation, like they did on Sunday?
I mean, it wasn't a couple of weeks ago whenever Pedrinho put in a not great performance from his start against who was it? My Lord, it's gonna bug me now. I believe it was against Vancouver when he started, and he did well against the Rapids. Obviously, he scored against the Rapids away from home, and then he was benched for Logan at the for Chicago Fire game, which Quill said he was already making the rotation between the three options at winger with Farrington, him, and oh man, last name's gonna bug me now that I don't remember it. 1 second, that's gonna bug me, but I'll come back to it later if I can remember. Kamungo, that's what it was, with Bernie as that right winger spot. So he came in against Vancouver, put in just a terrible performance, which a lot of people were like, okay, why are we playing him? Because Farrington didn't do much better against Chicago. So, going off those games, it's like whatever. But then Pedrinho didn't play for 3 straight games, not even a single minute off the bench, because he honestly didn't do great against Vancouver. Like, he was poor, invisible, whatever. And then against Seattle, he came off the bench, kind of the same thing. Started against Minnesota, it was solid. It wasn't great by any means, but with us resting Acosta and everything, he got the job done. And then off the bench against a Miami team, he looks incredible. So it's one of those things where, for me, you gotta ride the hot hand in this league. You gotta take who's in form, but you also got to look at the inside and be like, okay, he's still a young player. He might have been the obvious best player, in my opinion, on North Texas last year. But how well does that translate to MLS, and how's he going to adjust to MLS, which is a lot more physical, a lot more quicker, and just a lot more overall just a physical game, both strength and mental as well. So it's one of those things where how does he develop and how does he do well? And with the one start against Colorado, he did really good. With his off-the-bench performance against Miami and his start against Minnesota, he got the job done in Minnesota and did amazing in Miami. So it's one of those things where, with Musa out, I believe, at least one more game from the looks of things, do we go to a 4-2-3-1 and run Julio on the left and him on the right? Do we keep this diamond and put him in midfield for show and have that shift into a 4-2-3-1 sometimes? One thing that we were throwing around in our little group chat was, do we roll out a 3-4-2-1, a 3 at the back formation that might actually work? So there's a couple of different things we can do and a couple of different things we can try. But with Pedrinho and how he's playing, at least until Moose is back, I would start him for sure, like Jose said earlier in the show. And if anything, run the diamond with an attacking midfield option, because Kaike is getting forward. if you look at his heat map, he was getting forward and dive bombing forward. He was involved on
What?
Shaq's goal and on the third goal too. So, and it's something he didn't do a Gremio from DMs with a certain scout that we have hired for the team. Something that they didn't know was in his locker. He didn't do it much with Gremio, and he's looked great going forward based on everyone else in our midfield. So if we have those two, Kaike translating more to an 8 than a 6, and then letting Ramiro stay at that DM spot, which he's looking more and more comfortable the more he plays. Let Pedrinho be more the free roaming 10 like Lucho, and let it ride.
And I just want to say that the 3-man backline becomes more of a reality once you realize that Julio showed he can play wing back, which means that Quill has more wing backs in available to his team this year than we had last year when we were running a 3-man backline. It's just options. The ability to be able to change up is a great thing. I want to say that Norris is his first year starting. He was bound to have a bad game, and mind you, the entire left side had bad games because Shaw was also on the left side, and both of them struggled mightily, and he's going to be targeted. Norris going to be targeted by everybody, and so he was bound to have a bad game. I'm sure he'll be back. This will be a good learning experience for him. I think we'll still roll with a 4-man back line. I'm sure Norris will bounce back. I think Shaw. I'm thinking that Pedrinho may replace him, but you never know. They may still start Shaw and maybe opt to use Pedrinho more as a having someone who come off the bench and give you instant offense is also not a bad thing to have. And so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm pumped up. The team. I don't think I could sleep last night because I was all fired up. 4-3, exciting game, and I don't care who. I don't care that it was a rotated Miami, a win on the road, 3 points on the road against an undefeated team. You play who they put in front of you, and you beat them.
Yeah, I'm watching. Actually, sorry that I'm behind on the game today, but I'm watching your guys' highlights and being down 3-1, and now y'all catching up in like the second half.
It was fun. It was wild. We went from like,
I'm
no,
impressed.
we suck. We suck to suddenly it's like, oh wait, maybe we don't suck.
I know you went from sucking to looking like a championship team. To be honest,
honestly, it was a roller coaster match, much like our season. We're all pumped up when we're up 1-0, then heads in the dirt when we allowed 3 in a row, and then all of a sudden we're back up once Urugide scores that on our first set piece of the season. Not a coincidence that it's against Miami. Like I said, everyone's talking about how improved their defense is. It's not. It's just that everyone's scared to attack them because when they start Messi and all their big guns, everyone's so worried about what Miami's going to do to their defense. They're too scared to go forward. And Miami should have bunkered against Dallas, and they didn't. That's why Julio was able to go over the top. That's why Dallas was able to rally, because Miami, for whatever reason, refused to bunker. And I've always said that for all its flaws, Dallas absolutely thrives against teams that simply won't play at least a low, a mid block or a low block against them.
I'm going to say screw Miami because they're no better than any one of our teams. They're sitting number 5. So, take that.
Miami will. and mind you, if they don't rally against Vancouver midweek, it'll have been for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to feel the pressure out of this one now that they've got to make something happen against Vancouver. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch. I mean, it's going to be an interesting match because you're going to see the best of Messi at home, but Vancouver, they just got to get a goal or something. They've got to make something happen, and they're through. Well, it was good stuff. Let's come back to that in just a moment, but let's go and jump over to the North Texas. Played midweek. They did not play this weekend, and grabbed a needed, necessary home win. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Yeah, in fact, um, Gavin Gall with his first professional goal to get things going. Nice effort. It's up for goal of the week for MLS Next Pro. So that's one to go out and vote for. Go and look them up and vote for. We'll be sharing it after the show be let me switch back to camera here. We'll be
I
sharing
did
away for
watch
you.
that match. That was against the Town, right?
It was against the Town. I think they're the worst team right now. I think.
But I have to tell you that North Texas just looked in shambles the entire first half. I mean, uh, I was watching that match and watching them play against the worst team, and you couldn't tell the difference. You couldn't tell that North Texas was better than them until the second half. Once the second half, the team finally seemed to wake up out of whatever stupor they were in, and got the three. But the first half was just like, my goodness, they were doing everything wrong. They were there was it looked like a team that had very almost no chemistry. In all honesty, I was watching that game just dismayed at how poorly the team played the entire first half. But I stuck with it, and sure enough, they got going in the second half, and it's just something you can't do. You can't do, especially when you play better teams. You can't have a half like that, and then you're gonna find yourself like Dallas did against Miami. Down 3-1 against your better clubs, and I'm not certain that North Texas has the firepower necessary at this time to get into shootouts.
Yeah.
So so
And also,
yeah,
they're dealing with their injuries. Yeah, I
yeah.
think,
It's
they're
a win with plenty for them to learn from, and that's what
yeah,
you want to see. You want to see a team that will take something like this and improve next time around.
yeah,
Yes, yeah, their first halves have been, head scratchers.
yeah. A lot of work to be done for that team, but a young side that we know that there's going to be a process here, but they're missing some guys with injury. I think I think Coach Gall is just trying to figure out how we can put people in the best positions to succeed. But yeah, as always, I mean, they found a way to win. It didn't have to look pretty. It doesn't always have to look pretty, and hopefully, every week gives them a chance to get a little bit better, get a little bit stronger as
Yep.
the season progresses. Well, let's start to wind the show down. I mean, but I am curious. Who do y'all think wins between Inter Miami and Vancouver? Are you going to be watching that, paying attention to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And do
Uh,
you think?
I
I'm Vancouver is gonna take it.
I agree. I rotated Vancouver squad, stomped Minnesota, and rested just like Miami did. And yeah, I'm not sure. Miami looked old in their loss against Vancouver, and that's not something you're going to fix overnight. So I think I'm not saying Miami won't score. I'm not saying Miami won't have their moments, but I think Vancouver pulls it out. Uh, they'll win by one goal. I wouldn't be surprised if they score one goal on the road to secure the win. Yeah, Vancouver's just rolling, and I think they'll manage it.
Colin, you
Uh,
agree or?
Oh, I 100% agree. I think Vancouver is, we were kind of shocked that they fired their coach last season. Vancouver was very consistent. They were doing pretty good. And then I believe the firing of their head coach came out pretty soon after the season, and didn't realize most of the league was shocked. We were like, man, what the heck are they doing? And they brought in Jesper Sorensen, who last coached Brondby, last coached Justin Shea, but and he's known for being a very a defensive minded head coach, which you look at Vancouver's teams over the years, and they've been very much a hard to break down team and everything, and with their roster, it was a good hiring, but everyone, even their fans, were like, "How are we going to score? How are we going to score?" Well, you look at how they're doing in the league, and they look the top of the league for a reason. I mean, they they got 20 goals, which I believe is tied with Portland. and San Jose for for most in the West, and actually most in the whole league. And then they've conceded 7, which is, I believe, the second best in the whole of MLS, or tied for the best, something like that. So it's like you already had one of the better defensive teams in the league, and now you're figuring out how to get them scoring and firing. If they keep this up and don't get injuries, knock on wood, they have the defensive cover, but they don't have the attacking cover for injuries. But if they stay, healthy, I could see Vancouver going all the way to MLS Cup this season. They're that dominant. They're that good. And they showed against Miami at home. They don't need the ball. I mean, they out possession. They lost out on possession to Miami, like 69-31. They had the same amount of shots, had 3 more shots on target than Miami, and ended up just being more clinical. And Messi just didn't show up. So yeah, it's one of those things where you have to, yeah, they have the best goal differential as well. You just have to look at that Miami side and be okay, can they get? I'm going to say lucky like they did against LAFC, because they did get insanely lucky. Can they get lucky like they did against LAFC, who's been a discombobulated LAFC compared to past years? And my answer is no. Even with the rest, I don't see how they do it. Especially a 2-goal deficit where if Vancouver gets 1 goal, Miami needs 4 to go on. So.
Right. That's right. That's why I think they're going to be ready for it. Luis Suarez has not scored in like 7 games. I mean, those knees, I can only imagine the problems that my knees give me as I get older. But like Luis Suarez, who's been a professional world-class striker, like, okay. Yeah, so they have their challenges. I do think Miami's going to come out. I think Messi's going to have some moments. And so I'm not 100% sure that Vancouver will see it through, but I think everything's right now, just the way that Vancouver played Miami is going to have to really elevate their game. And I don't think this weekend helped them too with their mentality. But maybe they'll come out and play really angry. But yeah, that defense from Miami, I think that is their weakness.
But sorry to interrupt. I have a question, I guess. Like, why would Miami sit out their best players? You know what I mean? Versus you guys, for one. So, are they sitting them out because they're going to go after Vancouver? Are they resting them? You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, that's the thought. Yeah. I mean, they're managing those minutes so that Messi's ready to go and really push Vancouver. So that's why I think there's going to be goals in this game. But yeah. I still think you have problems like Suarez. It's not just rest. I mean, the guy's knees are done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also got to think they played Thursday night in Vancouver. They didn't get done with customs and everything on Friday until, I believe, most players didn't get home. They were staying on the broadcast till 1 or 2 in the afternoon, so they couldn't do training unless it was an evening training. So they only had 1 practice, and it was basically a walkthrough on Saturday. So with the quick turnaround and everything, they weren't able to get, I guess, training done. And then also by the time they get done and rested, they only have 24 hours to prepare for the game. So, because it was a 4 o'clock game, 5 o'clock for them. So it's one of those things, you have 48 hours from the time you get home to see your families and everything. But also my thing as a coach would be, we're going back out there. We're getting ready for Sunday no matter what against the best team in MLS's away record. But we don't, I guess, again, people think it's FC Dallas and they can do whatever they want, but we've shown that we're best team in the league on the road for a reason. So,
well, go ahead. All right. Well,
all right. Well, you guys got San Diego next. What do you think is going to get?
Yeah, that's right. So FC Dallas will travel down to San Diego for the first time in club history. I'm actually going to be able to take about the hour road trip down there to cover the match in person. If all goes well, it'd be nice to see Snapdragon Stadium and check it out down there. Check out their vibe. It's kind of a wild card because San Diego. I think Matt Doyle wrote today or last night that San Diego seems to have had a dip in form that teams are sort of figuring out. They had such a wonderful start, but we'll see. We'll see.
I got something to say about that.
Okay.
And Marcin will appreciate this because I believe the Rapids exposed San Diego's weakness with their fullbacks You know, when San Diego traveled to Colorado and Colorado laid 3 goals on them, beat them 3-2, and since then San Diego has lost 3 in a row, so including the Rapids game, and they have allowed 3 goals in all 3 matches, and their fullbacks have struggled mightily. So this is a copycat league, and I guarantee you that Dallas is going to watch the Rapids game. They're going to watch the last 2 games and see how those teams terrorized San Diego on the wings. And this team has the capability to punish San Diego. It's going to be another high scoring game. It could be another high
It's
scoring.
I think it's going to be a tough game for both teams.
Yeah, it's
I will give it to you guys just because you're streak on the road for sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, San Diego, they're no slouches. I will say that.
there's no slouches, but their backline has been exposed, and all of a sudden they still have offensive punch, but
Mm-hmm.
again, they're gonna have to bunker. They're gonna have to go low block against FC Dallas, and if they don't do that, if they don't protect their fullbacks, then Julio, Acosta, some of our speedier guys are gonna feast on that team's backline. Another team that is attack heavy, defensive weak. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not, we have our holes too. I'm just saying, get ready for another high scoring game. I I could easily see a 3-2 game, and hopefully we get the third goal and win. That's where I'm at. I think it's gonna be 2-2 with team with whichever team finishes strongest is gonna get that third goal and get the W.
All right. All right.
If y'all are going to be sitting on the back seat and play defense, I don't see what y'all need to attack. I mean, you guys do way better at attacking than just playing it safe. So, I mean, if you guys are going to attack and do what you've done on Sunday, yesterday, you know what I mean? I will say 2-0 FC.
And I agree with what Martin says, because in all honesty, after Dallas went up 1-0, I think they took their foot off the gas, and Martin was like, "What are you guys doing? You guys just scored 1-0. Now you're relaxing, and you're letting these guys come at you." And honestly, he was giving me crap for that the whole time. And of course, once Dallas went offensive, made the defensive adjustments and went offensive, then you saw the tide turn. And I agree, they're gonna have to go after San Diego. They can't score a goal and try to sit on the lead. They gotta just go at them, and know that San Diego is reeling right now. So you gotta kick them while they're down, even in their own backyard.
Hell yeah.
1,000%. Because you got to look at these past 2 games. Colorado exposed the wingback issue, but then also you look at Charlotte, and Charlotte took Colorado's plan, and I'm not trying to down Colorado by saying this, but they executed it even better. Like they just fed the ball with BL to both Zaha and Abada, and then they even used Patrick Agyemang's size as a way to body, because something that a lot of people we don't realize. Like, I think McVay is like 6'2" or 6'1", and McNair is tall. They're both decently tall, but the issue is that they are both slower, and they're both weaker. So while they have the height, they can easily be bodied, and that's what they did with Agyemang. That's what they did with Piol from Salt Lake, and you look at San Diego FC as well. Their best striker, because Mighton isn't good enough to start. Apparently, I think he is, but they're keeping him on the bench for some reason. Thomas Angel from LAFC isn't good enough to start in MLS, and then their starting striker Ingvarsson is injured through May. So they played a center mid at striker against RSL, and even then it looked very, very weak. If FC Dallas can stop Chucky Lozano, which he's been kind of inconsistent, that won't be that hard. I'm more worried about Dreyer. I think Dreyer is one of the better players in this league and isn't getting enough love. But if they can stop Andres Dreyer from tearing up that left side like Frey was for Miami, we'll be okay. It's just, again, like Larson said, we got to be able to attack and not take our foot off the gas. If we start that front three of Julio, Farrington, and Lucho, play the long ball to Farrington, let him body up McNair or McVay or McNair, and then let him lay it off to Julio in that open space to either wingback, or give it back to Lucho, as there's going to be so much space because their midfield plays so high. San Diego's success was because, again, teams didn't expect them with no cohesion and balance to dominate so much, and they were pushing and pushing teams hard. Once teams realized, like Colorado and Charlotte realized, hey, we have pace on the wing, we have size on the wing, we're going to expose it. And their wing backs playing too far up. So again, if Dallas plays defensive and counters like we did against Miami when we were actually trying to push for the ball and doing well, and like how we do it every other game away from home, we should get an easy, I believe, a 2-0 result.
Wow.
I just want to say one thing, Colin, real fast. And I know you're not trying to talk smack in Colorado, but I have to rebuttal a little bit. But I remember there was this one time, and there was this one game where FC Dallas lost Colorado, and y'all lost the MLS Cup also. Your chances were done. So when you come to my stadium, there's a cool thing on the wall, and it says MLS champions. Y'all don't got that.
I was just, hey, we gave you credit. We said that Colorado showed everybody else the way.
I know. I had to throw in my 2 cents. Whatever.
I'm just saying. I think Colorado showed everybody the way, and everybody else has basically taken what Colorado did and improved on it. And now San Diego is reeling. And like I said, I agree with Marcin. Dallas has to start an attacking formation and go after San Diego. I would be disappointed if they start the 3 D mids again. I really hope. I think this is a great opportunity to give Pedrinho that chance to claim a starting spot, or at least a rotation to the starting lineup, because this is a team you should definitely go after. I'm looking at their lineups, and I'm looking at their lineups for like their last 3 games, and they look to be juggling. They look to be looking for answers and not finding them.
I hope you guys win every single game, to be honest, for the rest of the season. I wish. You know what I mean? Except that one in September. Except that one in September. Except that one in September.
Well, I know Rapids are traveling to DC. That'll be an interesting one. DC is a weak team right now. They're just they have a great striker. I mean, but man, one of the just a prolific guy. But if you give them a chance, but man, they are a mess. They are an absolute mess.
Exactly.
So far, rapid wise, I always get his name wrong, but number 10, Machovic, whatever. He's been carrying the Rapids, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Last 3-4 games, that boy. I mean, I'm like, where's Navarro? He's always there, but he just can't make it.
Unless if you have one, you just need one guy to carry your team until everybody else gets their act together. You know.
To be honest, we've been winning on penalty kicks. Honestly.
Agree.
All right, well,
So,
we need to wrap the show up there. We appreciate everybody watching. Chris, thank you for your comments. Marcin, it's always good to see you. Colin, Jose, thank you guys.
same here. Thank you.
It was a fun week of soccer, and of course, there's a lot to watch and enjoy this week and the weekend ahead. So, thanks everybody for watching. Remember, you can subscribe to Afterburn.soccer or find the podcast version. I'll be working on that a little bit later and getting that up tomorrow, wherever you find podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for your support. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, good.